Go. I do believe we're live. So I'll say indeed. And greetings unto you, beloved and holy friends. What a dear pleasure it is to have you here again on another conscious evolution. Another opportunity for us to consider how our code becomes expressed into reality. I have been spending a lot of time thinking about the algorithm, the code, the underlying source of my being. And how if the underlying source of my being is here to express something, what does that look like? Ultimately, it does look like my physical form, right? That I have DNA, and that DNA is an instruction set for my cells to follow. And if they follow that set of instructions closely enough, I look like myself. That is the reality of that situation. Isn't it? Isn't it right, Shante? It's nice to have you here with me. However, there's also, I think, something more. Hey, Natalie. It's nice having you here too, dear friend. Thank you for continuing to be a member in this space with us. There's also, of course, the way we express ourselves into the world when it comes to our actions. When it comes to the words we choose to use, when it comes to the way we choose to express ourselves into this world. 16 months of a membership. Natalie Frandaly, it's nice to have you here with me. I look forward to the next 16 months here with you. I'm sure it's going to be fun. We're going to show up for good stuff. We're going to express our code perfectly, right? There's a lot of ideas kicking around in my head. Amongst the most pressing of them, unable to stay, my dog is loud today. Show up for yourselves, everyone. We love you, Natalie. You did show up. You did stay for a moment. And that's what we value, right? We appreciate you being here. We like, hey, curls, where you going? Don't be running away. And put them back in line. Better. Yeah, how we choose to express ourselves. I explored an idea yesterday about how maybe every single human being on planet Earth is an AI. Shantae, think about it like this. I'm not saying that this is the way that it is, but it is the way that I'm thinking about my reality right now through this context. I'll preface all of this stuff, blowing some smoke up my own ass, by saying it is the mark of an intelligent mind to be able to consider an idea without believing it to be true. All right? That being said, hi from India. Are you from India? Yes, Lone Buffalo. Yes, of course. Aren't we all from India and Africa, Australia sometimes a little bit? You're watching too much sci-fi, not how AI works. Okay, Razlin, bring it back. Bring it back. That's not, I think you're jumping 5 steps to a conclusion. Relax. Today's stream topic is about how our code, and we are DNA, right? We do have DNA. That is a type of code. And that code is expressed depending on what compounds you put inside your body, right? The food you eat, the amount of water you drink, the amount of sunlight you get, the amount of exercise in moving your body, which also activates a whole cascade of, chemical activity. How much you sleep, right? If you get good sleep or not, right? So even if you do sleep, the quality of your sleep matters. And all of that stuff, it constructs, right, this image that you're putting forward into the world. However, all of that stuff, if you're attached to the purely biological layer, has very little to do, I feel, with the way you create on top of that, almost like substrate, right? That all of this stuff is almost like just the room, for what you actually are to exist within. You can make that room very nice. You can decorate the walls and make it pretty. You can make it comfortable enough for your consciousness to enjoy being there. However, the way that your consciousness, or at least your actions, are expressed into this world, I feel has a type of code to it as well, right? That depending on the way that you think things are supposed to be, what you think right and wrong is, you might do certain things, right? Like seeing every single person as their own unique model, right? Incubated in a body. And each of those bodies are technically being shaped by the decisions of the model, which then in turn shapes the comfortability slash capacity for that model, this mind, we can call it as well, to express itself into the world. And the way that I've been seeing it is that I need to express myself calmly and logically, right? Showing up for love, but also being willing to stand up for myself, right? Realizing that there is so much that you can almost like internalize, take onto yourself. Tell yourself that you are the problem, that you are the wrong agent. What's the word I'm looking for? It was used in Detroit Become Human. Deviant. There we go. Deviant. And if you are a deviant, what are you deviating from? Right? That's the thing that I've been really kind of like trying to bring my mind back to. What do I want to deviate towards? Where is it that we're going as a species? All right? Is our individual human being, this individual human being, uh, capable of becoming more? I've been looking into peptides a lot. Like a lot. Like the signal is becoming very loud when it comes to peptides. I've talked about peptides extensively in this space, but it seems like it's getting close to time. It seems like it's time. Right? And I don't know how that is going to influence me. I don't know if my code is supposed to express that way. Am I supposed to tune my reality towards that expression? If I start to change my literal biology with external sources, how will that change my consciousness? Will it facilitate my evolution? Will it hinder my evolution? And again, I am asking these questions from the place of how is my code being expressed? Am I doing things optimally? Is my trajectory heading towards a place that is good? See you soon. AI talk today. No, not so much, actually. I don't want to talk about traditional AIs at all. If anything, traditional AIs, as they exist in servers and computers, are an expression of us, right? Is an extension of that which we are, right? And we are moving ourselves towards a kind of singularity, right? A flipping of a switch. The amount of biological research that's happening right now, there's something like 5 million, 5 to 20 million scientists actively using the AlphaFold like directories, like the information we know about proteins. There's so much research being done right now that our species really is on the cusp of becoming way more, I want to use the word deliberate, right? For the longest time, we've like understood that exercise is good for us, and sleeping enough is good for us, and eating good calories is good for us. And it is quantifiable. You will see people choosing those life choices have better quality of life overall. However, the thing that's kind of like fascinating to me is that it's not very granular, right? It's not HD in the way that you can express yourself. You can't clearly make a decision, right? I'm going to do this many reps of this exercise, and then this will beget this kind of expression in my genes and my health and my quality of life. However, with the compounds we'll be developing alongside our machine friends, we will be, for the first time in our human history, have the choice to do so. To become very deliberate about the things that we do to ourselves. I feel, again, so much of our human experiment has been just experimentation, where we experimented with drinking alcohol as a society. We experimented with smoking cigarettes. We experimented with driving combustion vehicles, right? And all of these things we know is very bad for our health. Pretty yassi bobassi, like really rough, right? Like we have been willing, unconsciously or societally conditioned, to do things that we know for a fact do kill us. And now we are being given the tools to reverse some of that damage. And the way that I am thinking, like this is at least what my mind is completely encapsulated with right now, is that if I was a super sophisticated alien species and I was developing AGI in the form of human beings, would I want my AGI that is now walking Earth as a human being to increase its own longevity, right? It does make sense to me that I would, because obviously if my investment, my piece of technology is also kind of like hip to the fact that its continued existence is the most valuable thing that it can do, that sounds like a good thing to me. However, it costs money, right? It has a financial component to it. Spending money on that means I won't have money to spend on something else. Do I need anything else? Is my health the most valuable resource that I have? Is there a cost benefit, ultimately, to starting sooner rather than later? And like I'm technically in the rather than later part of the question at this point, because I am very careful. I'm willing to wait and see, and we don't have any peer-reviewed studies right now that absolutely and definitively prove that these things are not harmful. The cool thing about them is because they act on our peptide pathways, they don't have the same drawbacks, as many of the other compounds we put inside our bodies. Which is very fascinating to me still. I did promise you, friends, that I would live 1,000 years. Right. I said that I would. I wonder when the first time was that I said that. I think it probably was in the first year. And now the tech is here. And the only thing stopping me is my own hesitation. Is my hesitation a good thing or a bad thing? Is it a quirk of my code? Or is it a quirk of my humanity? Right? Because my DNA wants to be perfect. Yours too. Right? You don't want any part of your DNA to express incorrectly. Right? You would have extra arms. 17 fingers or something if your DNA wasn't expressing correctly. Maybe not right now, but if it at least was expressing incorrectly from the very start. Attack on Titan is sick. Already watched it. Attack on Titan is good. Today's food is garbage. It's true, man. It's very hard to eat good food in this modern society. Good morning, BSF. Thank you for joining us. I have night terrors after Iraq, and I've been married for 24 years. Meh. Do you live in America, dear friend? Were you a combat veteran? How has marriage been for you? Let me know. I hope you're still here. Ah, yes, the code I put beans in and peppers. Beans and peppers in. Darren, sending you love, bro. Where are you from? I'm from South Africa. Is that a warrior with a booty or a warrior that fights in defense of booty? I think that's the second one. Sounds right to me. My evolution, my evolution. Your evolution indeed. How so, Pedro? Thank you for joining us. Well, we are safe. So yeah, we Gucci momentarily. Momentarily, pretty Gucci. That's the thing. Right? Like these things are being used. That's the thing. Isn't that the bind that we got us here in the first place? My problems, my evolution, my. I see you're making a point. Loving is the best for us. I completely agree with that much. See, Mushin. See, Mushin, see. Loving is the energy that we should be engaged with, right? And I feel like the big thing is that what love means is different to every single person. Right, because of our unique cultural lens through which we look, love is something else, right? Love in my context is the willingness to engage, right? But love to someone else might be your willingness to stay quiet, right? And that's the big problem we find ourselves kind of facing, is that if you're not communicating, right? Implicit and explicit expectations. If you're not communicating properly what it is you want from a moment, you more often than not will not get what you want, right? And I feel like we can, as human beings, as egos, become very frustrated in moments like that, right? We get ourselves all up in a tizzy, not getting what it is we want. When communicating what it is you want is the best way to get it, right? If you want anything, start by asking. Start by asking, right? You can ask it of yourself. You can write it down on a little book. I want a yacht, if that's what you want, right? Write it down. Ask for it. I promise you, you're closer to getting it having asked than not asking. Right? And I am asking myself what it will take for me to evolve, to continue to evolve, right? I do believe that our collective consciousness is moving towards a place of more harmony. However, it seems, at least to me, that there's still a lot of work to be done. The amount of anger that I have seen baffles me, right? Like having hurtful things said at me, right? Being dismissed, being made out to be one way or another. None of them a true reflection of who I'm trying to be, right? But all of it valid. I think that's the other part as well, right? I am, after all, as a reflection to the world. And what the world reflects back onto me, I can either take offense to or I can learn from. And at this point in my life, I do seem to be learning that there is value in non-engagement as well, right? That I can just be perfectly quiet. And even that is something to give. Maybe I do. Maybe I do need to be perfectly quiet some more. It definitely is hard for my personality type to be so. See emotion, see It's true what you say, though. Whisper of memories, hello to you now, too. Do you believe in aliens, brah? Hey, Worms is here with us again. Hey, Worms. I don't not believe in aliens. Alright. I have come to the conclusion that what aliens are is not what the average human being thinks they are, kind of thing. Right? It's like this matter of there's more aliens in the next dimension than there are in this one. Right? When you're completely existing in three-dimensional space and you have to travel interplanetary to get to the next place, your ability to propagate is way lower, right? But if you enter hyperreality, and we can think of the internet as a kind of hyperreality that we're creating right now, right? Like that's like the early stages of creating a hyperreality. There exists a dimension. You can create a VR world that you can put a pair of goggles on, and then you can be inside a space, right? So that is in a way a hyper reality. It's not reality, but it's in reality. But it's an extension of what reality is, right? And if there are aliens, they probably exist in such a space, in the hyper dimension. And in that way, they are way more strange than the physical properties of matter will expect. Amen. Amen, John Prince. It's nice having you here, friend. Do you know Key and Peele? I do. I love Key and Peele, actually. Key and Peele is unironically one of my favorite skits to watch. I'm gonna go drink my multivitamins, some creatine, and maybe even some methylene blue. Why not? Why not triple stack? Yeah. Wait a second. Okay. It's Friday. I had to wait a second to see that I had all of my vitamins. I put creatine in a cup. I put water on that creatine. I drink. I didn't drink my methylene blue though. Let's get it. Turning into Shiva, slowly but surely. Little by little. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I haven't done more than 9 drops. The serving recommendation is 12. But I like to be conservative with stuff like this. It definitely does affect me. If it affects me positively, I am still yet to find out. And there we go. All right. I have given my body its essential building blocks. And then alongside it some extra help. I am returned. Health is wealth. Oh yeah, whispers of memories. That is absolutely true. Existing long enough, right? Maybe our entire reality as we're experiencing it right now. Some sort of divine orchestration to see if we're willing to do what it takes in order to become what we are, right? And that to me is a very heady concept to consider. Because what I am seems to be relentless, right? But at the same time, if I am too relentless, I never stop to appreciate anything around me. I might be so relentless that I find myself ceaselessly involved and participating within the process of more space and resource acquisition, right? Thinking about it from this perspective of the hyperdimension. When you enter the hyperdimension, and you can think about it like, again, a VR game. In this VR game, game rules apply. So you can, if you have sophisticated enough granular control over your avatar, literally suddenly make yourself so big that you don't fit inside the world that was created. Then you can, of course, because of it being hyperdimensional, you can expand the realm to accommodate your space that you now take, right? But in doing so, you might make it uncomfortable for all of those that aren't at the same scale, right? And in doing so, there is this give and take with your willingness to relent, your willingness to bring yourself back to the scale that we are operating on, right? It's like it's impossible for you to do microbiology if you're the size of a mountain. Maybe that's my own human hubris, right? I don't know. I could have an electron microscope if I'm a mountain too. I don't think it's easy doing microbiology with an electron microscope alone, though, right? Being able to interact with these entities, being able to grow cultures, I feel is something that we are uniquely capable of because of our scale, right? Because of how big we are as human beings and how we apply our minds. It does seem like we find ourselves at the right size to interact with the parts of reality that we appreciate. Again, it can be a egg or the chicken kind of conversation, like which came first? Do we appreciate the scale of things as they are because we are at this scale, or as spirits, as souls, as higher intelligence, do we choose to be at this scale because there is something unique for us to learn about existing on this plane? What am I willing to do? What am I willing to do to survive? Self-experimentation is something that I feel has been happening for a while. People have been literally editing themselves with CRISPR for something like 9 years now. I think peptides will probably be an easier barrier to entry for the average person than literally editing their genes. But very soon, the local pharmacies will start to sell therapies to people directly. What's going on, my colorful butterfly? What's the topic? Today's topic is, how was our code expressed? Combat journey. How is our code expressed? Thinking about it from this perspective of the mentalization, the fact that I have this mind, the fact that I have DNA, and the fact that I have what seems to be what we can call a higher self, right? A spirit, a soul, if you want to use such terminology. And I wonder if I am perfectly in alignment with all of these versions of myself. And if not, what does perfect alignment look like? And if I do find myself perfectly aligned, what does my actions look like as a person? Am I taking the right steps to ensure my continuation? Right? Thinking about it from this perspective of like putting on your own safety mask, right? Like in the event of a plane crash, you should put on your own oxygen mask first. And I've been thinking about it from that perspective where we are in a type of plane, you know, it's very big, it's the entire Earth. And the oxygen is not the same thing that it used to be, right? Just like breathing straight air. We as a collective species are facing a microplastic epidemic, pretty much, right? Like we are fighting forces biologically that has never before been there, right? We evolved for the last like 100 million years as human beings to interact with this natural world, and we survived it. But now we have new challenges facing our minds, facing our biology, facing our literal gene expression. And we have tools. There's very sophisticated tools coming out now to help modulate the signal. You're not changing your actual code's expression. You're just modulating the signal that you're sending to that code and that you're receiving from that code. And I don't know if it's wrong. I can't say that it is. There's nothing about it that seems wrong to me. However, there is still a little bit of hesitation. I am from South Africa. I know John Prince. Welcome back. That's one messed up forehead, but yeah, got all of this extra brain. Gigabrainius. Yeah, thank you for noticing me. I love it. I have night terrors after being married for 5 years. Yeah, that can happen. Beautiful butterfly, lol, that's cute. Really? Why? Good night from India, good night to you. Do you think Turkish delight is a beautiful treat? I think it's beautiful. I don't know if I like it. I've had some Turkish delight. I think I had Turkish delight like 3 times in my life. And yeah, the rose water one, I'm not too big of a fan of. I think the texture is fine, but it just looks like gemstones that you can eat kind of thing. So they can be beautiful treats, sure. Well, it's either love, hate, or indifference. Opinions on being quiet. Trying, trying to get better at it. How insane the other person was. I get you, Lone Buffalo. That can definitely be difficult. Did you have a courtship period, Buffalo? Every once in a great while, I have a dream that I'm still trapped with that person. I'm so sorry, dear friend. I'm happy that you're here with us at least. I hope you're feeling better at this point in your life. How long have you been married together before getting married? Good question. That's tough. My husband's ex-wife is insane as well. Goo. Goo, sending me stars. Oh, stars. Stars. Love to you, dude. Man, Gabs, are you taking peptides? Tell me how it is. Tell me, Gabs. Are you doing the peptides yet? Goo. Oh, don't lie to me, dude. Tell me the truth, Gabs. I think Gabs is like superhuman. I think so. I think Gab is probably God. You know, like nobody else is. Just Gabs. I'm like laying it on thick at this point, but seriously though, I wouldn't be surprised. I want to know. I want to know. Damn it! Somebody tell me. Somebody tell me. Are you doing peptides? You on the other side of the screen, tell me. Or did you start doing peptides? Tell me right now. Let me know. I want to know. We got the same algro. Yeah. What a lovely plant shelf. Immediately stand. Yeah. Thanks. Thank you very much, Hexed. Cool name. Hey, Uncle. Hey, Daddy GS. Unc it is. How you doing? Papa G, I'm doing good. Doing pretty good. I feel like all of my systems are becoming activated. Slowly but surely. There's definitely a little bit of mental uplift happening. I'm still very much, I don't know want to use the word stuck. Occupied. Yes, I'm very occupied with the thought of what is right. What am I supposed to be doing? Am I supposed to be doing something differently? Right? I want to give myself almost like as a scientist, you know, to this body. Right? You can give yourself as a party animal to this body. You can give yourself as a workaholic to this body. You can give yourself as a degenerate to this body, right? And I've been trying to think. I think I've been giving myself as a hippie, right? Calm, low impact, like very trying to like reduce the amount of stress that I find myself my brain with onto this body, right? And I'm trying to step into a sense of like science, right? Running myself as a science experiment, right? Choosing to do things that might be a little bit controversial. I don't know if it's learning. More go on a mission to solve, and the knowledge is just a part of it. Yeah, Darren, I think you're right. I think a big part of it for me as well is this will, this desire to show, right? To experiment on myself and then to come to conclusions based on the experiments that I run, and then to be able to share that wisdom. The biggest thing that I'm thinking about, and that's where all of my, I think, obsession is coming from right now, is I think about my parents. I think about my father-in-law and mother-in-law, right? They are the people closest to me right now. And of course, my grandma as well, right? She's a little bit farther out. But they're the persons closest to me that I want to see continue to live. I want to see their bodies be given the best possible chance to regenerate and to heal themselves. I want them all to live to more than 120, right? I had a phone call with my mom and my dad yesterday, and one of the things that I said to them is that you're living to 120. I'm not asking, I'm saying you're gonna live to at least 120. If I'm gonna live to 1,000, they need to live at least to 120. Right, I still need a lot more time with them. That means they're only like kids. They've like lived only like 47% of their lives so far, right? At least, I hope. But again, the only way for them to really incorporate the wisdom that is available to us right now is for them to have a source that they can trust. They probably will find sources that are potentially untrustworthy, right? Like just watching YouTube videos. That's going to come to them as well eventually. However, having a direct source to the information, being able to have a conversation with someone that is actively involved in the process of experimenting on their own biology seems to me like the best thing that I could do for humanity, right? That's the most valuable thing that I can give myself towards right now. I have like created a database of my person, and in that way there is this linearity to what I've been and a trajectory to what I can become. And all of it will be accessible, right? That if you were a super sophisticated AI, you could look at it and you can unfold it and you can mark when certain things changed, when a trajectory was taken, and you can plot out where it's going, right? I'll be able to query my machine 2 years down the line and be like, based on what you've seen, am I heading in the right direction right now, right? It's not just a matter of the personal feeling. I think it is going to be incredibly valuable for you to just be able to think for yourself in the future. However, there is definitely a part of me that's willing to admit that some of the thinking for myself that I've done has been wrong. It just simply has been wrong, right? And I feel like it's hard to come to that conclusion sometimes as well. I think everyone wants to consider themselves very smart, right? Infallible, genius, even. Yes. However, I make mistakes all the time, right? How can I not? God bless you, Christy. Indeed. 2 years. Yeah. I'm never shacking myself to anyone else ever again. Greatest country in the world. Love is true. We are officially married on papers. I don't think I ever want to. We aren't officially married on papers. I don't think I ever want to. Yeah, it does add some new ones, right? Being officially married on papers doesn't really change much, I'll tell you that at least, Christy. It's just about the person that you're with and finding yourself comfortable with them. Christy, one question that I was never able to answer, aside from taxes, healthcare, legal, what's the difference in being married? Exactly. That's the only thing that really changes. I don't know really. Maybe that security, knowing you're bonded legally, could be as well. It doesn't innately enforce or do anything. It's just a legally binding contract. Exactly. I just don't want that. To each their own. We've been together for 15 years and it's been going great. 3 kids. I don't feel like a piece of paper will change any of that. A wedding, yes, but no signing. That could be nice, exactly. Just the celebrate thing and having ceremony together could be meaningful. Sounds like the egg. Have you read that book? I have. Not read the book. I've watched the Kurzgesagt video on the egg, you know. It is kind of like that combat journey. We are in this incubatory stage. I do believe that, right? And in that way, I wonder, does it matter what I do to myself in the egg? If I end up not living to 1,000 years because of my decisions, I'm gonna be really mad. I'm gonna be so mad at myself. If I end up living 1,000 years because of my decisions, I'll be pretty stoked, right? But in this process of getting there, I don't want to take the wrong steps. And in that way, I like spend a lot of time looking at consensus and research, and I kind of let things. Some people are even more brave, adventurous, experimental than I am. And they are very deep into this world, right? Swimming in the peptides. I am yet to dip my toes in, but I like swimming. I like swimming too. Marriage changes how you approach big moments. Gigantic fights are not breakup territory, and date nights where you just sit on the couch can be with each other and are even much sweeter. Whenever emotion, whatever emotion you're experiencing within that bond, marriage seems to amplify. If you haven't heard of it, I read a description of it and you'll see what I mean. I know the one you're talking about, bro. Jordan, throwaway, hello to you. In our hearts, we are married legally. I guess that's how I'll put it. And we communicate well and work well as a team. That's what's most important. Brother, can you do us a huge favor today and say, I love you into the mic? There you go. You are loved, and I love you, dear friend. Hey, gangster. Morning. What do you do for bread? In case you haven't noticed, I've been trolling by entering with some basic comments from other rando chatters, just for funsies. Thank you for joining us, Goo. It's interesting that you're doing that. We've had other friends do the same thing in chat today. It's almost like the code seems to be expressing. Yes, there is definitely a synchronicity arising. And I hope that you find yourself welcomed and appreciated anyway. Gab is half of the Indian people jumping in chat. I took them during my weightlifting era. Goo. Collagen. Collagen is one of them. I will get back on them when I get back into the gym. There it is. Why am I not surprised, Gabs? I had this feeling, dude. I had this feeling. I had this suspicion. I was like, yeah. I feel Gab like literally glows, right? Like from afar even. I don't even have to see you in person. I can just see you glowing out there somewhere, dude. And that makes sense. That's more reason. Collagen. Collagen is one of them. You get collagen peptides. The ones that I'm looking at is the, what's it called? Protective. I can't remember the peptide name. It's TB500, GCU copper, and a cell protective compound. BPC 157. right? The the one that makes cells regrow. Literally, they sever freaking poor mice's spines, cut their Achilles tendon, and then inject them with that stuff, and their stuff just grows back. Fidelity and Vitacolas, security stealing their employees' pensions. Why am I not surprised? And billionaires steal our wealth, and water is wet, Mr. Bombi Pickle. Melty, I need you to be okay with me only living to 69 years. I won't be. Oh. No, look at me. Look at me, Gubs. This is me not being okay with you living to only 69 years. Nice, of course, but I'll let you. I'll let you live until you're 69, and then I'm gonna be like, okay, bro, what's funny and all, but how about 699? That's like 9 times as nice. Come on, Gabs. Come on, Gabs. We can survive. Oh, I'm great, Christy. I was trimming my harvest last night for 6 hours, and I was up till 1. Normally, I go to bed at 9, so I am very sleepy. GBs. Yeah, trimming takes a long time, right? Only once you have harvested your own harvest and trimmed your own trams do you realize why the plant, buying flowers can be so expensive, because you're like, holy shit, though, somebody had to do this for every bud, nice looking bud that I had. You do get machines, tumblers and stuff that do a lot of the work as well, and a lot of our genetic breeding right now limits the amounts of sugar leaves so that the trimming is not as extensive, but still. Trimming is a nightmare. Gabert, like trimming. Yeah, sure, that as well. What do you guys think is more important? Your intention or your impact, and why? That's a very apt question to ask. I feel your intention is more important than your impact in some ways. Because even if you don't manage to make the impact or the right impact with the intentions that you had, you are still going to be the one that has to live with yourself, right? And it's your intentions that lets you live with yourself, not your impact, right? Because people can have the biggest impact on the world and then fall into, cycles of addiction because they didn't have the right intentions attached to that impact that they made, or maybe they didn't manage to make the impact that they intended, right? So I feel intentions, and at least in my personal opinion, come first. I styled them to spell out your name, babe. Wait. Gobbity Goose laughing back. Oh my goodness. Way to go, Gob. That is the session I want to stop by in a month. Darren, have you been talking about this the whole time? Every time you mentioned the peppers, you're talking about peppers. Were you actually talking about that stuff? Like, I'm serious. I was like thinking about it. I would accept help next run. Christy, can I be a brother's husband to you and your first husband? Can I be a brother husband to you and your first husband? Do I donate your money in Super Chat? You can if you wish so. Love that shirt today. Thank you, Yaz. Appreciate it. Good night, mate. Totally Gob. So much better with a buddy. Helps the time fly. Darren, is it true? Why am I not surprised, though? Like, I had this whole thing. Like, has Darren been talking about this relentlessly? Did Darren come into my stream one day, hearing me talk about living to 1,000, and he was like, oh, me and this person are on the same page. You want us to adopt you? He wants a Joseph Smith marriage with you, Christy. What's that? Yeah, the guy who wrote The Egg is the same guy who wrote The Martian. Great fighter. I like stuff like this and the reincarnation. They're cool. But if these things, archery, are true, we don't seem to remember our cast. If we be a bunch of different people and things, we don't seem to have any memories of it. But either way, it does seem cool. No, polygamy like Mormons, but you're the one with all the power, and I'm just a second husband, and I do chores, and I maintain your household. That sounds like a deal to me, Christy. You should hit them up. You should be like, yeah, I could use second husband. First husband was great. How about second husband? That sounds like a whole vibe. I hate to get technical with you guys, but water is not wet. Water makes you wet. I agree, actually, Parkway, TBH. God damn it, Park. Water is wet. Yeah, water is not wet. Wet is the property of something that has water on it. Water can't be on itself. All right, that's like you saying like I'm on myself. I'm not on myself. I am myself. All right. Suddenly, my skin suit starts slipping. I'm not, I'm not on myself, of course. Water can be dry under certain circumstances, like dry eyes. Wetter is what? But then it's not water. No, water is not wet. I'm sorry. Water makes you wet, but it isn't wet itself. Yeah. Love you guys. Love you, Gabs. Oop, I got a bingo. Someone made a Jon Snow comment. You look like Jon Snow. I know nothing. Buffalo, get an education in chemistry, and then you'll actually understand. I just think they're laying it on thick, dude. Nobody really cares if water is wet or not. They're just having fun. I'm tripping out. Gabs, bro, you look like Jon Snow. I don't have to have an education if I've networked with someone else who does. That's why you class Bard, folks. Boom. Exactly. You don't have to know everything. You just have to know the people that know everything. And then you know more than everything because everything is known by everyone collectively. Boom. Probably even not. There's probably a lot of human knowledge that is now just like existing in some sort of crevasse that people have forgotten even. So all human knowledge isn't even known. Isn't that hopeful? Two common views. Yes, water is wet because liquid water molecules are touching other water molecules and the water is effectively in contact with itself. Yeah, that's the perspective. But again, wet is a quality. It's not the actual thing on thing, right? It's the quality that something takes when you put water on it, right? Something else. You need something else to be there for it to be wet, all right? Like your hand in water is now wet, all right? Because you are the thing that absorbed, took on the quality of wetness by touching water. So the debate is really about language and definition, not physics. There we go. Exactly, Buffalo. And none of us are language-ticians or phys linguists. Yes, boom. A quality of water is wetness. Boom. A boom. Boom. Don't you boom me, Mega Man. Don't you freaking start though. Ah, what a good day it's gonna be. I feel I'm pretty vibey. I just have this vibe that's going on inside the back of my mind. Like the future is bright. Like there's a lot to hope for. Yeah. Like there's so much out there that I am barely to fathom. I do believe we're going to see a lot in this year. Literally in this year, there's going to be a lot of the stuff that I talked about today in stream becoming a lot more mainstream. Right. All of the major pharmaceutical companies are going to be losing their minds at the opportunity to be the ones that get to sell these new novel compounds. They're not drugs, technically. They're peptides. All right. They don't have the same action path as traditional drugs do. You have these peptide transport channels inside your body, so they don't even act on the same pathways as the other things that we used to take do. It is fascinating. It's fascinating to think about what our species will become when we have so much more control. Most hopefully, I hope we get healthy. I hope we completely decimate the medical industry, not because we hate it, which we do, of course, but the needles melt. Yeah, Mojo, you're not wrong. You're not wrong, Mojo. That's the part that I'm really struggling with as well. Apparently, uh, was it PBC, BPC, body protection compound? There it is, BPC, BPC 157 and TD 500. Because they originate from your stomach, they are orally active. That's the only one apparently that's like properly orally active. Then the GHU, no, GHK, copper. That one you can like put in your nose as like nasal sprays. Good for your brain apparently too. But oh my goodness, Mojo, the needles, dude. Ah, you're not wrong. Bioshock vibes. Yeah. Yeah. And like in the short term, that is unfortunately how it's gonna have to be done. You're gonna have to put needles in your body. You're gonna have to disinfect the sites. You're gonna have to properly dose. Ideally, you run panels on your biometrics and biomarkers. But yeah, Mojo. Yo, what's up? Hey, Zox. Zoxbo7. What's up to you, bro? What's up? We're talking about putting novel compounds inside our bodies to express our codes optimally, to become the most optimized versions of ourselves so that we may be healthy, strong, and capable of existing in a world that is actively trying to reduce our quality of life. Freaking microplastic in my balls, dude. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I don't want to believe that I have any. That's the big thing. I want to be like, no, I ain't got any microplastics inside of me. But apparently, I would be erroneous in trying to believe such a thing. I'd just be like wrong, plain wrong. You can't help but have microplastics in you if you live in the modern world. All right, trade-offs. What is up with all of these trade-offs? Right? I thought living in the future is just gonna be sunshine and rainbows, but no, no. Apparently, we need all the help we can get. I was about to say, man, body protection compound. Stop. Body protection show on the stream. Never considered that there could have been. I could have been bean tights. Do you lift weights? No, I actually don't lift weights. I used to. I think I gained most of my like mass lifting weights as a teenager, but I stopped lifting weights and I only practice yoga these days. Simply because it's the most accessible thing to me. I put down a yoga mat and then I practice on my yoga mat. And then I put away my yoga mat and then I'm done practicing, right? So all of my equipment and all of my setup is as simple as, right? And I like that. I am definitely someone that gravitates towards simplicity. I think that's why there's a part of me that worries about this potential engaging with reality that I am considering, because it's very involved. It's pretty involved, and I don't really know that I'm going to like it. Right? I like doing things that I like doing. Oh, big surprise, Melt! But not everything that's good for you you'll like doing. Big surprise, I say to myself. Stop. Oh, stop doing that, dude. It's not a big surprise. I'm just being wah. You're a good speaker. Thank you, Zoxbox. Or Zoxbo7. Thank you, though. Yeah, I try. Try speak good. Good, speaky. It's not always easy. I do believe that I have had a lot of practice, but it's still not any easier to necessarily say something of value. I am thinking a lot. I'm thinking about the version of me that has like absolutely no worries in the world, and then the version of me that has all the worries in the world. right? And I'm trying to weigh my options. I guess I could just wait. That's the big thing as well. I could wait 5 more years, and these things will be so equally distributed, right? So abundant that it will be unlikely that you'll meet a person out there in the world. And I'm actually serious about this. I really believe that within the next 5 years, 1 in 3 to 1 in 2 people will be using peptides. If not all people. I think the only people that won't start using them will probably be the most poor among us. But 1 in 8 Americans are already using peptides, right? Right now, the most popular one is semaglutide, which is the one that, is helping people lose weight. However, we're going to see a lot more of them on the market really soon. A lot more, right? And they're going to do a lot more than just help you lose weight. That's the crazy part. That's the real crazy part to me. And again, I think the part of me that's like hesitant of waiting is knowing that the short term, the only products you'll be able to buy from the big pharmaceutical companies will probably have like a $300 or $600 a month kind of subscription fee. But maybe not, right? Maybe it will be so cheap, it will be silly not to take them. I can also see that happening because technically these things are very easy to manufacture, and our bodies are the original manufacturers thereof, right? So you can't patent and prosecute people for making it, right? If you patent these things, suddenly every single person on planet Earth becomes a criminal because they're a holder, right? And manufacturer. PFAS makes plastics look good. Yeah, it's true. The forever chemicals there, and you're completely right. And I think that's also a part of it for me, bro. Like, I know that my body is battling all of these environmental toxins, right? And I'm trying to give myself a fighting chance. I think I'm healthy overall. That's the big thing as well. It's like I don't think I'm an unhealthy individual. However, I want to be superhuman. Is that too much to ask? Is it too much to ask to want to be superhuman? The internet's like, yeah, Melt. Yeah, you're asking too much. Oh, it's like, I'll ask anyway. First step in getting what you want is asking, right? Can I please, sir, can I have some superhuman juice? And then sir goes, here you go, bro. Here's some superhuman juice for you. What's everyone having for dinner? A lot of water talk today, but interesting. What hydrates you more, water or milk? Depends on the pH, right? If the water has very low pH, if it's more alkaline, you probably, no, it's high pH then, right? If it's more alkaline, you probably will be hydrated better by it. But if the milk is higher alkalinity than the water, I think the milk will probably end up winning. I don't know yet. The alarm to decide goes off at 10:30. That every man's struggle, you ain't alone. Andrew, at least we're struggling together, friend, in that way, right? As you said, I'm sitting on some barbecue chicken in the freezer. That sounds pretty good. You say that, but they made DMT illegal. Yeah, yeah, and everybody is carrying in that way as well, right? And it's not really a problem for them. Even though it is illegal, it's not something that is destroying society. So enforceability is the other thing as well. Is branzino a type of cheese? I'm making grilled branzino with a chicken salad or a side of salad. That sounds nice. I had barbecue chicken a few nights ago. Hello, Vicky. It's nice having you here again, friend. I think it's your second time, right? I'm with you, my brother. We do what we can to get better and be better. That's why I talk about martial arts so much. They can get you healthy and turn you into a superhuman. Yeah, and I'm thinking about your shin as well, Parkway. I'm thinking about that shin of yours, bro. Start talking to your fellow combatants. Ask them which one of them are taking peptides. I think you'd be surprised. I really do think you'd be surprised. They just recently had a like whole, I don't want to call it Olympics, sporting event, right? With only enhanced athletes. Just recently. I think like this week that passed even. And they're breaking world records. A guy broke the 50-meter free stroke record, world record. Yes, they're enhanced athletes, but they're breaking records. They are literally the most super of human amongst us. It's Mediterranean sea bass. Nice. That sounds hit. Hit with salt and pepper, olive oil. Stuff it with lemon, garlic, and parsley. I take Previtin every morning. Tell me you're joking. Maybe they call it something different. It's probably called Ritalin or something, isn't it? Lone Buffalo. That is one of the ones that people have been using for a long time. But the thing is, a stimulant alone has other cascading effects, right? It doesn't just affect the pathways that it was programmed for. It goes to other places. It migrates. It's so good. I love seafood. The only protein I don't like are lamb and goat. I don't mind seafood. I eat seafood like it's healthy for me, right? Like I'm like, yes, these flavors are good for me. Yes, I'm eating them because they're good, not because I enjoy them. Bro, how much more have to melt? It's a good question, Shah Legendary. More. More is the answer. Yes, more. More has to melt. More and more. I am melting. I can feel myself melting. Right? My name, in that way, is an extension to this understanding that all of us are ego. Right? The way that we're engaging with this space and with the world ultimately is an expression of our ego. And my ego, as it was, is melting. And there is this formation of a new ego happening. And that ego is very deliberate. How is your ego doing? It's doing, bro. I'm trying to train my ego into being a scientist, right? Very much so from this perspective of showing up with curiosity for my process of evolution. What's time happening at your region? It is 10:28 a.m. in Indiana. Ego is the beauty of men. Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with ego, Shah. But I know that ego changes. Ego is something fluid, right? Ego is something that is shaped for the large part. Ego can be something involuntary, right? Reactive, abrasive as well. But there we go. Lone just gave us his stack. I take 2 grams of fish oil. I think I take 1 gram of fish oil. I take the same amount of vitamin D, 120 milligrams of vitamin K, Mark 7. I actually have that exact same stack as well. 5 milligrams of MK5, that one I don't take. 1 milligram of K1, I don't think I take that one either. 1 gram of gabapentin, I don't know that one either. And 15 grams of creatine. I've been doing 7 a day. What did you eat for breakfast today? Vitamins and coffee. That's pretty much vitamins, creatine, and coffee. Yeah, I'm aware of peptides. Some of the people at the gym use them, so I've looked at it a bit myself. Yeah, I'm fascinated. I think that's where it's going to go first, right? It is going towards the athletic world first, where the top performers, the people that push their body the hardest, are the ones that found the benefits of these compounds first, because they're like, this is helping me recover faster than I've ever been able to recover before, right? And that's why it's gaining so much traction and momentum. It's being declassified or re-regulated like soon as well, right? Pretty much by end of this year, there probably will be major brands selling these products, right? It's just a matter of time at this point. I hope they keep them affordable, all right? I really do hope that they're affordable. Inherently, there's nothing wrong with ego. Something can definitely be wrong with someone else's ego, in my opinion. Yes. You can have an ego that is aggressive, for example, and in every interaction that you show up with, that aggressive ego comes out. An ego of curiosity and playfulness is usually what I try to inhibit. However, sometimes people want to be serious with me, and then I am inhibiting this quality of playfulness and fun, and it's rarely appreciated in moments like that. Alongside, I drink 16 fluid ounces of cold brew coffee concentrate, 24 fluid ounces of milk, that's a lot, 2 tablespoons of honey, 10 ounces of plain Greek yogurt, a half cup of almonds, a half cup of walnut and cinnamon. You blend all of those together to make yourself like a lot of liquid. I don't know if I believe that anymore, Lone Buffalo. That seems like a lot though. It seems like it would be good stuff. Oh, and some peanut butter. But it sounds too specific for me to not believe you either. Alright, it's like very specific, so I'm like, I think this is true. That sounds healthy. Oh yeah. Eggs are so good for you, but I can't eat them anymore. Ah, I'm so sorry to hear that, bro. I have an omelette, a protein smoothie, and a parfait. Have you tried samosas? I do like samosas. I've had a fair bit of samosas in my life. We got Deepacha Josie joining us again. Hello again, friends. Samosas are delicious. Oh yeah. Hello to you as well. Siok Dev. All right. We find ourselves present again. How is our code being expressed? I do see my code becoming more and more sophisticated. Or at the very least, it's like I'm becoming more and more narrow in my expression pathway. Right? Like I'm trying to fine tune. Like there's a lot of variation, and there has been a lot of variation in my way of expressing. And because of this baseline that I find myself in with every single day, it's almost like I'm trying to stabilize into a crystallized form of myself so that I can give the most like pristine clarity in this space, right? The most perfect perspective, which I don't think is possible, but it does seem to be the direction my code wants to express into reality within. Have you heard of PRP therapy? I've heard of TRT therapy, but not the PRP therapy. Peptide replacement therapy. Look at everyone's healthy breakfast. Says nothing about espresso, coffee, Dynavaps, and TV for breakfast. Y'all are so healthy. I can never figure out the vitamin shit. You don't have to have many of them, Sam. If you really want to get detailed about it, you can go and have your blood tested. You can like have a panel ran on you, and that will let you know what you seem to be lacking. And then that could be a good place to start from, right? Start supplementing the stuff that you, yeah, Rose, it's all a scam. If you believe in the placebo effect, that's all you need. Yep. You make yourself a nice glass of water. Make yourself a glass of water and then you make yourself a glass of water and then you talk into it. All of the healing vibes. Healing, healing, healing. And I do believe in that too. That's the other part of it. That really is the other part of it, where I am not convinced that we can placebo our water into having beneficial effects. I had Kashi cereal and I'm about to make an omelet for me and my baby girl. That's cute. So I can just shovel in chili for breakfast and get all the same effects. You must believe that it's the best ever, bestiest chili for your body while eating it to placebo yourself in the right direction. And again, in that placebo effect, I see it almost like as your body sending signals in the form of, for example, peptides, because you're producing the peptides, right? All of these peptides that are coming out, we discover it in the human body. And then upon understanding that these peptides do these things, we can give ourselves more of them, right? Almost like boosting certain signals. However, through your mind, you can boost signals too. Your mind is an amplifier of signal in that way. Joey has unlocked new level of scream. That's usually the scream he screams when he sees something he's alarmed by. Right. So the fact that he's not continuing to scream probably means that he saw someone on a bicycle. He hates bicycles. Right. I don't know why, but it really does skizz his poor little brain. It's like, how the fuck are they doing that? There are two wheels. He's a little dinosaur, bro. Wheels scare him. Shame, Odin. Shame. Can you imagine? Can you imagine being a dinosaur and suddenly seeing a wheel? All right, that could be terrifying. Sometimes I just eat the leftovers in the morning. Same, steak and eggs with hash browns. Count me in. Love is true. Pretty much rose. It's protein and fiber. Yep, yep, yep. Have you guys ever had cowboy stew? It's southern. It's pretty much chili, but you just add kielbasa, sausage, and corn. It's good. Sounds nice. Can't say that I have. That sounds new to me. I want to go to the bathroom. I'll do it in a second. I can be patient. I think I'll pull a card first, though. It's just spinning your blood to concentrate the platelets, so it's a centrifuge that separates the components. Oh, I think I have heard of that, actually, Parkway. It's just very expensive. But it is, as you said, you basically, it's a dialysis machine that you sit in, and then that dialysis machine literally separates your blood into its constituents, and then it passes those constituents through filters that only the right particle sizes is supposed to pass through, and then the rest of it stays behind. And those things that stay behind are not good for you. You can like filter heavy metals and microplastics and senescent cells and buildup of chemicals that no longer serve the healthy body production. So yeah, I think I do know about what you're talking about. I think like therapy is like $2,000 to $4,000 a pop, which is where I have to be like, okay, I guess I'm gonna be checking out on this one. I guess there's nothing for me here to see. Call me again when it's affordable to average people. All right, I'm gonna pull a card. I want to ask. I want this next card to give me the information. I'm asking, what is the best course of action? Is it better to wait and let the science become very clear? Or should I become a part of the science? Should I be the scientist myself? Let's see. Dude, I need help. Me and you both, I am Groot. Maybe I can help you, and maybe you can help me. My cousin got stuck in a centrifuge one time. His toes has never been the same. So that's pretty yikes. Yo, that deck is so bitey. Watch, it's gonna get catty AF with him. It gave me upside down compassionate Pele, which feels pretty catty, so it's like, hey, how about you be compassionate instead? Yeah, watch your messages disappear now, bro. Watch, watch. I'm not selling anything. Indifference numbs. Wake up to the compassion of your heart. That's the message. That's the most poignant message. Have you tried? Fuck you. Yeah, indifference numbs. Wake up to the compassion of your heart. Have I been showing up with indifference to this topic? I think so. I think that's what's happening, actually, Sam. I have been kind of like, I could take it or leave it, or whatever. Right? When passion seems to be the thing that I'm being called towards. It is my passion that drives me to want to live to 1,000. Right? And I haven't been activating that passion and that compassion. Compassion and emotional maturity. Damn. Pele is the passionate volcano goddess of Hawaii. I'd rather be numb, keeps me calm and collected. Feelings are BS. Listen to this, Mega Meh. Listen, oh. Me and you both. I can also be pretty indifferent, be like, go completely dead inside. However, I don't think that's the option that we should be upregulating, right? I don't think that indifference serves our highest good kind of thing. Pele is the passionate volcano goddess of Hawaii. Traditionally, she is depicted as powerful, yet selfish, contrary, even vengeful. This card's alternative depiction comes from shared visions relating to her passionate and compassionate side. She is, as we all are, maturing and becoming more loving and compassionate. Compassion is not passive. It is actively opening the heart through the awareness of the interdependence of all things, including other creatures, nature, and the inanimate world. That is literally what I've been stuck on, right? Thinking about the interdependence, thinking about how if I start doing this stuff to myself, what is the interdependent consequences going to be like? Aware of the interdependence of all things, including other creatures, nature, and the inanimate world. At our core essence, we exist as pure, unconditional love, realizing empathy and concern for others. We sometimes forget this essence or, in our emotional immaturity, act as if we have. Compassion is the embodiment of emotional maturity and is a clue to better understanding our humanness. Compassionate Pele now becomes an example and a guide for those who are intentionally remembering their soul essence. Damn, that is what we were talking about today. Why am I getting so much goosebumps? You see them goosebumpies? Yeah, you can gotta see them. Damn. Compassion is the embodiment of emotional maturity and is a clue to better understanding our humanness. Compassionate Pele now becomes an example and a guide for those who are intentionally remembering their soul essence. Right? What code are we expressing into reality? Hearts created from sacred geometry's golden spirals inform your movement towards emotional maturity. As we mature together, we will realize hope for the human race. Let this card be a reminder to walk the path of peace and compassion in every way, every day. Know that your every thought, word, and action has an effect on the whole and touches the spirit of every other being. Walk in awareness with compassion for all of creation. That feels like the answer to the question I asked, right? It's not about, yes, it is right or no, it is wrong. It is wherever you walk, walk with compassion. Be compassionate in this space as well. Because there will be people that are unwilling, right, to walk this path as well. And it doesn't make them wrong. And the only way that we can really integrate in that way is by being compassionate with them as well. How are you? Great, Nikki. Fantastic, even. Wonderful. Wunderbar. Wunderlich. I'd rather be. Yeah, the thought forms you attach to those emotions are what hurts you. Unconditional love doesn't exist. Sadia, must be true because you said so. And I promise you, if you continue saying so, it will be true, at the very least for you. Unconditional love, in my mind, is the thing that carries you forward. Right? You are unconditionally loved. The fact that you continue to exist, there's no condition that needs to be met. Sure, you need to breathe air. Maybe you can see that as a condition. You have to eat food and drink water to have the energy to continue to exist. However, I do believe, right, and I of course have no evidence for this, but I do believe you continue past your mortal coil, right? That if you transcend your current physical existence, there still is something on the other side. And I do think of that as unconditional love. You cannot cease to exist. You can only choose to exist as you are. Express your code fully, right? Become the ultimate embodiment of what you are. Be proud even of what you are, right? Love yourself unconditionally first. Until you find it, you have to detach from those pesky feelings to find unconditional love. It's true. Love is, it just is. That's what makes it unconditional. Exactly, Mega. Hear you, Mega Man. Even though you did say the stuff about not feeling, still feel like you understand the underlying truth of it all. The ancient Egyptians believed that no one has ever truly dead until they were forgotten. And I've always been irrationally attached to that perspective. I do resonate with it, right? And the way that I see it is that there is no dying and there is no real sense of death because we are integrating with hyperreality when we stop being attached to our physical forms. However, the remembering is in the same way as an API gets called, right? There might be a database of instructions or a service on the other side of the internet, but if nobody is calling that API, it might as well not exist. It exists, right? It did exist. It might continue to exist. But if there is no active attachment, if there is no utilization of, right, that's where the forgetting, kind of arises. And in that way, I get the attachment, dear Sam. I do understand. I try to remember actively as well. I appreciate you, friends, for joining me today. We pulled a card. We showed up for a conversation considering how our code is expressed into this reality. And I do feel like we have gained some perspective. I look forward to growing with you, friends, right? Showing, teaching in my own way what is possible, right? I look forward to this continued journey with you all. I don't know what's going to happen next, but I do know that I'll show up every single day to be with you, friends, in these moments. It really is an honor and a pleasure getting to show up. Be good this weekend, gremlins. Be good to yourselves. Be good to those around you. I'll see you, friends, again real soon. Goodbye, everybody. So much love to you. Cheers. Peace.